You're listening to the Decentralized Talk Podcast, your crypto connection.
Decentralized Talk. Decentralized Talk.
Alrighty, guys, welcome once again to the Decentralized Talk Podcast. We got the big episode for you guys today. We're coming out an hour long, an hour strong. We got a great show for you guys today. We're covering Bitcoin versus the United States dollar, right? And you know what that means. We're going to be talking about Tether. We're talking about the big crash. So if you're listening to this podcast, you are feeling it. There's no way around it. Everybody's feeling it. It's a pretty tight squeeze. We're trying to figure out where we are in the bubble. Are we on a bubble? And where we might be going. And we're going to talk about cryptocurrencies and the government, everybody's favorite topic. So we're actually going to do a coin spotlight today on Tether. We're going to follow up on who's winning the 2018 coin of the week. Got a hint for you today. It's me. Spoiler alert. I just want to let everyone know, of course, this is not investing advice, right? This is just our experiences and our opinions. So please do your own crypto research when investing in cryptocurrencies and make your own mistakes. I am Brandon Suttles, and I'm coming at you from Houston, Texas.
What's up, guys? It's Heston, back again. I know it's scary out there, guys, but keep strong hands. It'll work out in the end, guys.
What's up, guys? Dustin here. Just watching the cryptos go down, down, down. Hoping they come back.
Hoping they come back. Yeah, hoping they come back indeed. So let's get into this week in cryptos, guys. We got Bitcoin versus the dollar. So this is something for anybody who's out there getting into cryptos right now. This is again, not investment advice, but this is the time, right? This is somewhere around the time when people should be looking at entering the market. If you're not, if you've got a bunch of fiat currency saved up and you're looking to find out where to put it, you know, obviously the point in time where you don't want to put it is when everybody is buying. The point in time where you do want to put it is when everybody is selling, and that matches up with where we're at right now. So we're going to take a look at Bitcoin versus the dollar versus our gold reserves. So let's talk a little bit about what is backing the United States dollar. P.
The government? Technically, there's nothing backing the dollar, if I'm not mistaken.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, I think the
absolutely
thing is, just like any fiat currency, what's backing it is people's belief in it. So, you know, the government comes out and says, you know, this is our currency. You can buy and sell goods and services with it. Then the people of that country or nation will say, okay, we trust you, government, and this is what we'll use to buy and sell goods, is your little fiat currency. And Bitcoin is kind of, and Bitcoin and other currency, digital currencies are kind of just saying, you know, we don't have to have a government just because that's always the way it's been. We don't have to have a government behind a currency to make you believe in it. So a fiat currency is not a whole lot different from digital currency. You know, it's speculative, just like anything else. There's a government or a central entity behind it saying, you know, telling you that it's good to buy and sell things with.
And, I mean, that alone gives it a pretty solid value. I mean,
Exactly.
the U.S. government alone telling you that you can, one, pay your taxes with it, when you can go out and buy a pizza with it. You know, whatever you want to do with the dollar in the United States, it holds the value for what you need to do with it. That alone, you know, gives it the strength that it needs to be there for each of the citizens of our country and, you know, every other country. Because right now, what the dollar is the kind of the end-all be-all of currencies around the world. You know, it's what most currencies and transactions are based on.
Yeah, that's right. So how many dollars are out there? Do we know how many dollars are total out there in the world?
So I was looking that up just a second ago, and there are over $3 trillion in circulation at the moment, according to the Fed.
So $3 trillion in U.S. circulation, and we have $20 trillion in United States debt. That puts us at an $18 trillion deficit.
It's a pretty big deficit.
A little bit.
Well, that's another thing with the fiat currency. Like, investing in Bitcoin has a potential to go up. On average, the U.S. dollar goes down from year to year. I mean, what the current inflation rate for the U.S. dollar is 0.77% per year, I think is what I looked up somewhere. So, next year you'll lose a cent on your dollar.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
if you're looking to invest and make money, you don't want to hold your fiat currency. You want to invest in something that has potential to go up instead of holding on to something that has more than likely the potential to go down.
Exactly.
Yeah, so if you make a 1% gain, then you really haven't gained anything.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with fiat currency, and I mean, since we're on the U.S. right now, is they have the Fed has the ability to just print money whenever they want to, whatever they need it for. Now, you compare that to a digital currency, they have a set supply that can't be added to later on. And that's why Bitcoin has this following, because it's deflationary instead of inflationary. Now, the inflation rate in the U.S., it's fluctuated through the years. Right now, it's currently at about 2%. And so if you just take your cash and you just put it in a shoebox, you lost money, and you keep it in there for a year, you lost money over that year. And so a lot of people will say, well, I'll just put it in a savings account and then I'll make money.
0.0025.
Yeah, I mean, a really, really good rate for a savings account, you may get 1%, 1.5%, like really good savings account interest rate. And if the inflation rate's at 2%, you're still losing money, With Bitcoin, I can understand it's highly volatile. I mean, look at what we're going through now. A lot of people would look at that and be like, oh my God, why would I want to throw my money into something that could just drop 50% one day? And yeah,
you want to diversify.
Exactly. You don't want to have all your eggs in one basket. And it's not a good idea to have all your money in crypto or all your money in a savings account or all your money in realty or stocks. You also don't want to diversify your investments.
More money than you can lose.
Definitely not.
More money than you're willing to lose.
You don't want to buy Bitcoin with a credit card.
Yeah. Yes. I always buy my Bitcoin on just loans, just big fat loans, high interest rates.
High interest rate loans.
I do the what is it? The payday loans. That's the payday loans. I buy all my Bitcoin with payday loans.
I only do pawn shop loans for all my Bitcoin.
I buy mine off.
Fly out to Las Vegas and to Pawn Stars.
I've got a high interest rate loan with a bookie out of New York. He thinks like 50% on the year, but
yeah, sounds legit.
His name is Schmiegel. He's like 7 feet tall. He carries a bat.
He's only broke my knee once. So.
Yeah. So when we're talking about okay, Bitcoin versus the dollar, we're talking about the United States Federal Reserve, which everybody knows is about as federal as Federal Express, right? As the saying goes. When we talk about gold, so gold is something that is it's neither inflationary nor deflationary, right? So it's something that actually holds its value. So Bitcoin is very much the same way because there's a finite amount of it. It's going to hold its value. Although Bitcoin does tend to be deflationary because you can lose Bitcoin, right? So once they're gone forever. It's like cash in your wallet. Once that cash is gone, once that Bitcoin cash equivalent, right, is gone, then you can't print any more of it. So it actually it's a deflationary response in the market. Gold is kind of that middle ground, right? So with gold, 2,000 years ago, right, in Jesus' days, gold would buy you, so a 1 ounce of gold, right? Ounce, that measurement hasn't changed in 2,000 years, right? It's an ounce. So an ounce of gold would buy you essentially a toga, right? A new toga. It would buy you sandals and a leather handcrafted belt. Today, here we are 2,000 years later, right? What gold will buy you is essentially the same thing, right? So it's a suit. It'll buy you a nice suit. It'll buy you a leather belt, and it'll buy you a pair of shoes. So the value of gold has never changed. It's always stayed the same, even though the dollar has changed around it. The cost of a suit is $2,000. It's $1,000. That same suit the next year, year after year, with the same fabrics. That's inflation. Gold is a maintaining of the value for the goods and services that it can buy.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason that it was the gold standard for a long time, because it's just a stable currency that you can buy and sell things with. That really hasn't changed over time.
Yeah, because it's a finite amount. Its value stays the same versus the things that you purchase against.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bitcoin at its creation was meant to be more like the dollar. I think it has kind of transitioned into more of a gold-ish thing. I guess I don't know
I agree.
the best way to word it is, but I will probably never go out and buy a pizza, a suit, cigarettes, anything with my Bitcoin. I own a little bit of gold. I will never go out and trade my gold for a suit, for pizza. I'm going to hold on to it. I'm going to hold on to both of those from here on out. So I think now I see Bitcoin as closer to gold than to a fiat currency or to a dollar in that respect.
Yeah, it's that store value concept. So store value versus a traditional a currency, buying and selling currency. I think you're right, though. I think a lot of people give Satoshi this credit for being this super genius, which he definitely was. But when you idolize him into creating this perfect and flawless system, I think you're right. The original intent of Bitcoin seems to be pretty clearly a means of exchange. He was trying to buy pizza, you're buying coffee, that kind of stuff. Those are always the original scenarios. But just because the way it's hashed out, it's much more of a store of value, much more akin to gold than it is to the dollar.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that Satoshi could not have foreseen, like the right. volume. I don't think he really anticipated how the volume would affect the transaction speed and the transaction cost on the network. So now that it's gotten so big and popular, and I mean, if you look at it on a really grand scale, it's not that big. But now that it's gotten larger, you can see it's just not fast enough to work for everyday transactions. So it's just kind of turned into a store value. Now, maybe that'll change with the Lightning Network, or maybe another coin will just take its place. But I think Satoshi couldn't have really foreseen what volume how it would have affected Bitcoin, and this far into the future.
So then I wonder, maybe you guys could just pontificate on this for a second. But if Satoshi didn't foresee all this stuff, which I think is a reasonable thought, then the advent of all this Lightning Network and atomic swaps and basically it seems like everybody's got an effort right now to just force Bitcoin to fucking work. And maybe it is just the store of value. Maybe it's not going to be the means of exchange. Maybe it just never will be, or maybe it could, but you'd really have to kind of pretzel yourself, into all different shapes to make it work. And it really wouldn't be easily adopted. I don't know, but I just kind of wanted y'all's feedback on. Do you think are we just trying to push Bitcoin so hard, or is it better just to make a new altcoin that solves these problems?
I mean, I think Bitcoin can be fixed to where it can work as an everyday currency, and I think that's what we're trying to do. not me specifically. Like, I'm not creating my own Bitcoin hard
What's your
fork,
new
guys.
coin, Hesto?
But
What's your coin for it? Hesto coin.
if I was, I wouldn't be telling you
Decentralized
about it
Talk Live, hear it now. Hesto
Decentralized
coin.
Talk Coin.
ICO starts next week.
Get the pre-ICO sale right now.
50 quadrillion.
But I think Satoshi's original idea was genius. But as we see, it's not working out as he may have planned it. And so there's a bunch of different people trying different ways to make it faster and make it cheaper. Bitcoin Cash's idea was, we'll make the blocks bigger. That's a Band-Aid, though. That doesn't fix it permanently, because eventually you're going to have to make the blocks bigger than they are now. So Bitcoin Cash is just a temporary fix. That's why Bitcoin Cash is not going to take the place of Bitcoin, unfortunately, in my opinion. And I think if it was going to, we would see that right now when the market's crashing and Bitcoin's crashing. I think it would be a perfect opportunity for Bitcoin Cash to just bump right up the coin market cap, or the market cap, and take its rightful place, as those Bitcoin Cash people think. But I think Bitcoin Cash is just a temporary fix. Upping the block size is only going to fix it until you have to up the block size again, and then you'll have to do another hard fork. So I think Lightning Network has a much better opportunity to actually improve speed. But yeah, I think there's lots of people coming up with different ideas of how to make Bitcoin work. And I think just because Bitcoin has this name and it was the first, I think it can be done. And I think it would be great for Bitcoin to be the day-to-day transaction one, but it's going to have to be faster and cheaper. Otherwise, it's just going to be a store of value, which is cool too.
So Prater, do you think you think Bitcoin is a sandbox then? Do you think it's like a testing grounds basically for all the technologies to roll out the kind of final cryptocurrency, or do you think it's going to be Bitcoin until the end of days?
I don't know.
Which are coming soon.
It has the first.
They're here now.
Which are here now.
Right, yeah, Bitcoin's done. It's all done. I mean, what are you talking about? Cryptocurrencies are completely done. We're out of the game. Cash in for your dollar and go buy your coffee with your dollar.
Join us next week on Centralized Talk.
But no, I think honestly, I think there's another coin that's going to come out that's going to take the place of Bitcoin. Bitcoin had the first mover advantage. It brought the technology, to the field. But I think eventually there's going to be something else that takes over. Is it Litecoin? Maybe. Is it Bitcoin Cash? Possibly. It could be anything. It could be something we've never heard of before. Could it be Bitcoin? Yeah, it could possibly be Bitcoin too. But I just think, that first mover advantage and the name value of Bitcoin is what's carrying it right now. And at the very least, I think Bitcoin stays as the store of value. But I mean, I don't know the future, but that's just my opinion. I think there's a coin we haven't seen yet that's going to come out to be the everyday transaction.
Cool. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But that was an interesting discussion.
Could be Hesto coin.
Hesto coin.
Oh, it will be. It's exactly what it'll be.
Heads you win, tails you lose. Hesto coin. Right now, everybody's feeling the pain of the crash. And I'm going to go ahead and call it a crash. I mean, it is what it is, right? So we've lost over 60% of the value in the last of our highs, right? Of 60 days ago. So I guess the question is, when rebound, sir?
In my opinion, I don't think we're done yet. I don't. I think
it's dropping as we speak. I think as we started the podcast, I mean, Bitcoin was at $6,300. We're at $6,194 right now. I could see it going all the way down to $5,000 or 4,500, or I mean, who knows? We're no experts here, and I'm no expert in trading analysis or any of that stuff, or
Yeah, there's no telling. It could go all the way to 1,000. It could go all the way to 0. Nobody likes to think that it will, but it's possible. In this kind of market, you don't really know. So I don't think the correction is over. I think it got a little too crazy there, guys. Like, we got a little too crazy going from like $1,000 to $20,000. Everybody kind of lost their mind there. Too many jisms in the pants. I think everybody just needed to slow down a little bit, and I think that's what we're doing right now.
Never too many jisms in the pants.
And then everybody freaked out.
Yeah.
It started to drop.
Yep.
And then it just created a chain reaction down to where we are now. I don't mind it. I wouldn't mind it going down another, $1,000, $1,500 and grabbing a little more at that point.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, it'd be a much tastier pickup. The true believers that it's found would be a lot more people, I think, that would be able to afford an entire Bitcoin.
I wish I'd have sold at 20,000 and then bought back again at 4,500, but it's gonna hodl.
Yeah, we all do. I think we saw the popularity grew quickly. A lot of people that never heard about Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies had just started hearing about it and then bought in. The excitement was like just growing and growing and growing at the end of the year, and you could see little corrections when bad news would come out. Oh, China's going to ban this. And so, it would dip, but they were small dips in comparison to what we see now. And so I think once January hit, there were a few, there wasn't really bad news at the beginning. I think it was just people pulling out their profits and stuff. But then it was just a combination of kind of bad news, little hacks here and there, and then countries talking about banning things and banning mining and exchanges shutting down and audits and all kinds of just a culmination of all these bad news stories coming out about cryptocurrencies. And the mass media does not like us. They've never liked cryptocurrencies other than the centralized ones like Ripple and stuff. But so I just think, it just piled on, all this bad news, and it just, keeps driving down. And so I think it's going to keep on going down, but you got to have strong hands. Like those times in 2012, 2014, when it was up at $1,100, if you bought in $1,100 and then you watched it drop to $100, $180,
oh, it's scary. I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. It's scary. So, but if you had strong hands, then you waited 2-3 years and watched it go all the way back up $20,000, and you're laughing.
Yeah, so, I think that, dude, I have such a great point, because it used to be, like August, September timeframe, everybody talked about Bitcoin in this philosophical kind of perspective, right? It was this hedge against inflation, right? It was this fight against centralization, centralized dollar, centralized yen, and it was a very kind of metaphysical thing. It was something that people believed in, like a political party or like a religion. And once the big gains started happening, you notice all the podcasts, all the articles, everything switched to number centric, right? Everything got empirical. And I think that's, to me, that's like the main thing that really hurt Bitcoin, is that we got so many people flooding into the market.
People are greedy.
Yeah, they were there for the ride.
They're there for the money.
They're there for their money, yeah. And so that when they have weak hands, because there's no strength in their hands. There's no point for them to have strength. There's nothing for them to have strength on. There's no foundation for them to have strength on. They were just there to catch the ride, which of course is like this is the stupidest possible trading philosophy. If you're going to be just a strictly numbers person,
totally. People are there to make money, and that you got your day traders, you've got your late movers, you got your people that hop in when it's on the way up. That's what makes the market, though. You need all those people to drive the market, and like it's the circle of life. It's got to go up, it's got to come down, and everybody's got to get in, and people got to make money.
Chihuahua. Jonathan
No.
Taylor Thomas just got like 45 cents just now.
Yeah, and like 45 million Twitter followers from our great community. What were we talking about?
Lion King.
Yeah, no, it's sort of all I can think of.
So, back to the Lion King podcast.
All I can think is Simba and Mufasa.
All I can tell you is they would have bought Bitcoin for sure.
Oh yeah.
Simba would have been all in on
Well,
some Bitcoin.
oh, I remember.
Rafiki would have been the one selling Bitcoin,
You can't trust
cracking
that.
mangoes on people's heads.
But no, as far as the philosophy goes, I think I still, if you believe in the technology, like blockchain technology, then it can't go anywhere. So it's gonna come back. Now, will it come back in the form of Bitcoin?
Bitcoin, yeah.
I don't know. None of us know. But all of these blockchain companies, they're not going anywhere just because that technology is just too innovative to disappear, and just have the market crash to zero. I just don't see that happening.
So how low is this? How low is it going then?
I didn't think it'd go this low, but yeah, that is a good question. Nobody knows. I mean,
Well, so let me ask you guys this. So, none of us are technical traders. I know we all have different relationships with technical traders, or people that have been technical traders for a long time. Heston, I know that you and Prater do some technical trading. So, all the research that I've seen recently says that we're basically going into a funnel. Right, as the price it's gotten high highs and low lows and then kind of lower highs and then higher lows and then kind of whittled its way down in this flag pattern. And again, guys, not investment advice, right? But I think the prevailing wisdom is that when Bitcoin moves into this flag pattern, that it's going to make a very large burst. So, nobody knows, I guess, what direction it's going to, but the next thing that's going to happen is it's going to kind of weasel its way down into the bottom of this cone and shoot one direction. I mean, do you think that's a consensus pretty much? So are we looking for big gains or a big drop, or do you think it's just anybody's guess?
I don't know how much bigger of a drop we can get, to be honest with you. I think we're going to have to hit the bottom here pretty soon, or it's just going to keep going down.
Well, what's keeping it from the bottom, I guess, is my question.
Well, there's multiple resistance levels when you get to, and I'd have to look at a chart and probably watch some YouTube videos to see where the next ones are. But from what I've heard, seen, read, kind of heard, and listened to, it seems like 5,000, 4,500 is a pretty strong resistance level. So if it breaks through that, there's no telling how low it could go. It could go down to $100. Now, if it hovers there and kind of sticks around for a little while, gets some support, it could definitely cruise back up. And there's no telling with the way Bitcoin has moved in the past. Once it's had a big drop like this, it's rebounded pretty quickly and pretty substantially. So, I'm no technical expert. I'm still learning and in the infancy of my learning on technical trading. But we could see, it hit 4,500 and then there's no telling, bounce back up to 20,000 by March. Well, excuse me. But we could see it hit $100 and, stick there for a year and, then bounce back up or bounce down. It's very volatile, and you just never know what it's going to do, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the point is there's really no way of knowing, because I mean, you've seen long bear markets, like in 2012 when it dipped 85% and you had to wait 2 years for it to go back up to that original point. And then you've seen smaller dips where it'll drop 60% in a month and stay there for a month and then go back up higher. So I think the thing is nobody knows. I mean, everybody has their own little idea, and oh, I have this chart that says this, but just like a traditional stock market, man, nobody knows. Everybody's just trying to guess and be a better guesser than the next person.
Yeah, I've seen it always strikes me as so funny when you look at the Twitter feeds and you'll see literally in the same 5-minute period the same chart with with lines drawn all over the damn thing. It looks like an airport, and it's clearly going down. It's crashing any minute, and then you'll see another one right after it immediately with the exact same chart. Totally opposite lines, guaranteeing we're about to blow it out on our way to $100,000 a coin.
Yeah, I mean, my personal prediction, and of course, this is not investment advice. I mean, every investment has risk, but my personal, and maybe this is a hope. My personal prediction is that it drops to about 4,000, 4,500, back to where it was. At the end of the summer, kind of where this whole bubble really, really started to take off. And then we start seeing a little rebound. I think by summertime, it gets back up to about 10, maybe 12. Then I think by the end of the year, that's when we see another bull rush, just like we did last year at the end of the year in 2017. And then I think it finishes around 20, 25,000. Like it was, where it was at last year. So I think, we break a little bit. We might break even, maybe a little higher than we were last year. But I think the altcoins are going to make a bigger run than Bitcoin does, by the end of the year.
All right, guys. Well, I think that about wraps everything up for this week in cryptos. I think that was a good dialogue. Let's move into 3-on-3 fast break. So this is one of Prater's very favorite segments. We're going to talk about our each week. We're going to pick 3 coins in the 300 level market cap and kind of make our pitch for that coin for you. I'm going to start it off. I'm picking Moon Coin for obvious reasons, right? Everything's going in the dirt. This coin's clearly going somewhere else.
To the moon.
Yeah, yeah. I don't want to freak anybody out, but it's the moon. So it's got a market cap of 17.81 million. Circulating supply is 223 billion. Total supply is 385 million. Mooncoin is let's see, it's revolutionary. It's going to change the world. It's got a great team behind it. That's
revolutionary.
That's every single coin. That's every coin. It's going to change the world. Okay, so here's the cool things about Mooncoin. Really, there's less than 1% per year inflation, which I don't know how they're getting any inflation in this. They're giving away free Mooncoin at certain block mining segments, so it's incentives to buy. If you're looking for something, if you're balling on a budget, right, and you're looking for something to get into, Moon coins, they've been doing this for 4 years in the digital currency. So I mean, it's 4 years in digital currency, but think about it. If you have the foresight 4 years ago to create a digital currency and take the steps necessary that are into to make a digital currency and develop that when nobody's around, you have any YouTube videos to teach you how to develop your own coin. A lot of these people were they were the pioneers in this. Mooncoin was around for that. So it's been around. It'll be around. It started from the bottom. Now it's at the moon.
Now it's still at the bottom.
No, it's still everything's at the bottom right now. But Mooncoin for me this week. 3-on-3. P.
All right, I picked Sportico this week, and it's got a very interesting concept. I don't know if it ever takes off or ever actually does anything, but it definitely piqued my interest. So it's got a market cap of 10 million, circulating supply of 50 million, and a total supply of 70 million. And basically what Sportico does is they're an ERC20 token currently that allows you to invest in athletes. So basically, reading this from their website.
Is this like Barron's and insuring Tom Brady's legs?
Kind of, not really. Say I'm a 19-year-old athlete who has a very promising future. And, it takes me about $80,000 a year to train to get ready for my alpine skiing at the Olympics.
Well, that's what you are already. This isn't even hypothetical.
Actually, I don't know how much alpine skiers make. Let's change that. I'm a very promising football player.
Just like in real life.
Alpine skiers,
like
daddy
real
gave them
very promising. Still promising at the age of 34. I could still make the go for a Super Bowl run. But with their coin, you can invest in these young athletes to assist in their training regimens. So you buy, $200 worth of coins and send it over to me to assist in my training regiment. And then when I hit it big and get my $10 million contract, that investment gets sent back out to you as the investor. So athletes can register on their website to get money from the investors, and then you register, and you can pick athletes that have registered to invest in to win money or to get money back from them once they become big. Now, obviously, there's a lot of risk in this. If I were to blow out my knee and in my first year, you're probably not going to get a whole lot of your investment back. But if I hit it big, then you could definitely make some money off of that. Their platform actually goes live. The investment and funding ecosystem goes live in 53 days. So if you're interested, get your SPF tokens now.
What I would be worried about is, I don't know, maybe it's just me personally, but
Don't
I feel
worry
like
about me. I'm going to be a star, Heston. Give me your money.
I feel like there's a lot of athletes that I do not trust. So what's to say I invest in this coin and I pay this football player, $10,000 to train to be this expert guy, and then he just goes like, you know what, screw it, I'm not gonna do what you want me to do, and just quits or something. What's guaranteeing that he pays me that money back? You know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean.
Contract?
I actually looked into that. I didn't read the whole page. I'm going to be honest.
Well, they're 3-on-3 fast breaks. I mean, they're fast breaks.
I only had 3 minutes here. So I would guess that they're going to have to use some sort of smart contract to get that back to you. I know they have an investment team that reviews all the investments and all that. They have some professional athletes already on their team for advisors. Charlie Schrim is apparently one of the leading project guys over there, and he was big on the initial Bitcoin setup and all that. It's a risky one. It's a super risky one. Now, I'm guessing if you're just investing in their SFP tokens to start out, you're really just kind of investing in the platform alone. And then once it's set up, then you can go in further and invest in the athletes, because it looks like it's just kind of a placeholder token at the moment. But I don't know that I'd actually invest in this. I might, just because it seems interesting. I like sports, and if I find an athlete on here, I don't mind throwing $15, $20 at somebody. You never know.
All right, so this gave me just a really interesting idea. I don't want to break up 3-on-3 fast break too hard, but what happens if somebody wants to create a coin that's completely decentralized, right? It's out of the United States, and they want to basically raise funds or set up funding for college athletes.
I bet NCAA rules would not allow that.
But they couldn't have any control over it. Like, it'd be decentralized. It would be off.
They wouldn't have any control over the funding, but they would have control over the athletes.
Yeah,
they would
accepting
the crap out of that guy.
Oh yeah, but I mean, every athlete's they're driving. You know what I mean? They came from.
I mean,
nothing, and then all of a sudden their mom's driving like a new Bentley, and you're like,
Yeah, I don't know. The NCAA will just regulate the shit out of that. They wouldn't let those people. They wouldn't let those.
But what if you
athletes
did it with
play.
every, like, what if you just set up, I mean, you could set up the coin like almost like fantasy football. You could set up like a fantasy football for college athletes based on a coin system that was totally untouchable by the U.S. government or the NCAA or anybody. And I mean, it's just food for thought. So anybody out there who wants to make a coin for the NCAA athletes, take it out.
Take it out.
Take it out. And
Go
by the
for
way,
it.
I'm gonna need a big cut. Like a
Yeah.
big cut.
And ruin college sports
Oh
forever.
my God.
And ruin. I mean, hey, I'm just saying it may happen. It would suck.
Or make college sports better forever. Who knows?
Make college sports great again.
Yeah.
And while we're at it, let's start with middle school players.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Pop Warner.
I mean, fuck it. Let's just go elementary. I mean, what is it? Little League?
Yeah, Pop
Pee-wee
Warner.
football.
Pee-wee football.
All
This
right.
kid's coming up.
Back to the 3-on-3 fast break. I have the original rare cryptocurrency, unobtainium. Yes, that's right, unobtainium. So, by the way, all of these 3-on-3 fast breaks, I wouldn't invest in any of these things. I haven't seen one yet that we've done that
I know you're not talking about Mooncoin.
that I'm sold on. Well, except Mooncoin, obviously. I mean, obviously, I just threw my life savings into Mooncoin. I mean, after your sales pitch, I was all in.
Yeah.
I just transferred everything I had into it.
You need to go talk to
I
Pretty
honestly zoned out there in Mooncoin. I don't even know what you're talking about.
So unobtainium, unobtainium is really just almost identical
Avatar?
to Bitcoin. Yeah, it was from Avatar, and I guarantee you that's why they came up with the name. I love the name of unobtainium. I remember when I watched Avatar, I loved that name too. So basically, it's just like Bitcoin, except extremely, extremely rare. So there's only 250,000 coins, and there's only 198,160 in circulating supply. So I guess the creators kept about 50,000 for themselves. Their market cap's currently at 25 million, but basically it's just a digital currency, just like Bitcoin, and it's just rare. Now it's trading at like $100-something right now, but that's
111.32.
yeah, it's just because it's so rare. There's only there's only 198,000 of them out there. Now, what I did find,
where's that down from?
it was like $130 the other day. So,
That's
it's
not bad.
just dropped about $20, $10, something like that. What I did find interesting about this unobtainium thing
It
is,
was $379 at the peak.
yeah. So it's a merge mined coin. So there's a few merge mined coins out there. Dogecoin is one. It's merge mined with Litecoin. So basically what that means is you have a coin that uses the same exact algorithm that another coin does. And so when you mine that main coin, you can also mine this child coin. They basically do like a parent-child is what they call it. So Bitcoin would be your parent coin. Unobtainium would be your child coin. So you can mine both of them at the same time. But what's neat about it is mining unobtainium does not take away from your hashing rate of mining Bitcoin. So you basically mining unobtainium for the same hashing power, same hashing rate that you are Bitcoin. Just like if you were mining Dogecoin, it wouldn't take away from mining Litecoin. Because
So is it like 2 for 1?
basically, yeah, it's basically 2 for 1. And so I thought that was kind of interesting. It uses the SHA 256, which is the same algorithm, proof of work algorithm that Bitcoin uses, which is another coin out there that does the same thing. I think it's called Namecoin. But I just thought that was interesting about it. I would not buy any, but I would. It's a miner's coin. Like if you mine, I would say, why not? Why not mine some? Because I mean, it's $100-something, and it's not going to really go down that much just because there's such a low supply of them. I would say, yeah, if you're big into mining, mine it. But if you're going to buy some, I would not do that. I would not buy some. But if you're gonna mine Bitcoin anyway, then why not? Since it's merge mine, why not just buy it? Mine some unobtainium while you're doing it. You're not really losing anything from it.
All right, yeah. So speaking of another coin that has a kind of a couple unique properties, there's old USDT, right? The Tether monster. So I think that's something that's pretty controversial right now. We don't know if it's good. We don't know if it's bad. In fact, we did a Twitter poll at DTalk Podcast to the exact same effect. So we just asked a simple question: Tether, is it good? Right, broadly. And we got over 500 responses, and it basically came out pretty much 50-50. Good or bad were the only two options. Prater, broadly, Tether, is it good or is it bad? And what do you like about it? Does it scare you?
I personally don't use Tether for trading. I can see the use case for it for these exchanges that can't base themselves on the U.S. dollar or aren't based in.
But you purposely don't use it, right? Like, I mean,
I do not use it. I trade Bitcoin pairs most of the time. I don't trade, U.S. dollar pairs, or I mostly look at Satoshis when I'm trading. Don't really use the dollar. So, and I normally, if I'm going to cash out of a coin, I'm going to cash out into Bitcoin. I realized if I had cashed out into Tether, 2 months ago, I'd probably doing a whole lot better right now, considering all the other altcoins are down and Tether's only down, 0.2% or something like that, because it hovers around $1, because it mirrors the dollar. For every Tether that's out there, there's supposed to be $1 backing it up.
Supposedly.
So I can see where it's useful in the exchanges as for trading pairs. Now, I guess the big conspiracy is, or maybe it's not a conspiracy, but is every Tether actually backed by $1? That's the big thing in the news right now. And I mean, I guess we won't know until there's an actual audit done on Tether. So that's the big question, really, is, is it backed by the dollar? Is it truly backed by the dollar? Because if it's not, I mean, that could be very negative for the market overall.
So my question is, do we even want to know? I mean, here we are in the midst of this pretty enormous, what seems to be a bubble burst, or you call it a downturn at best, right? And you look around, and Tether's actually still doing what it says it's supposed to do. So I mean, I don't know whether it's legit or not. Like we talked about earlier, the auditors were kicked out. Right. So nobody knows exactly what's going on. It reminds me a lot of the Federal Reserve, kind of for the crypto space. It's got this kind of conspiratory, kind of mysterious vibe around it when they're actively protecting that mysterious and kind of conspiratory vibe. So that's what I don't know. I don't know. Is it good or is it bad, or is it bad and it functions, and so we still use it, or is it a high? Is it a low? Heston, what do you think?
Me personally, I don't have anything. I don't hold anything in Tether either, but I am pretty surprised at how stable it is, considering what the market's doing right now.
So would you think more? So would you think more now about using Tether? Same question.
No.
No.
So
yeah.
I
still don't trust it. I don't think I'll ever.
Downturn, you still don't trust it. Okay.
No, I don't think I'll ever hold anything in Tether. Now,
even if I trusted it, I wouldn't use it.
I just think, I mean, if you're a day trader, I can see, I totally get why you would want to use Tether. It's a good place where you can store it, your cryptos, or to buy other cryptos, because not every exchange will take USD. Most of them won't. So, and most of them will take Tether. So it's a good place to store your money while you're trying to figure out which one you want to buy, and then, put it back into Tether. And I get it. It totally makes sense. But if it really is not backed by USD and this thing starts to crash, then what happens? Because it has $2 billion, and the Tether is saying, well, we're good. We got this 2 billion. Well, what if they don't? And what if people really do start cashing out and saying, like, you know what, we don't trust this Tether thing, and all this bad news comes out about Tether, about them trying to basically hide from these audits, and people really do freak out and sell off? What happens then if they don't really have that $2 billion? People are going to get screwed. So I just think it's just too high risk for me to put anything in. I'd rather just and I'm more of a long-term investor anyway. I don't do too much of the day trading, but if I was a day trader, I think, even though those other currencies are volatile and, you don't want to see Bitcoin drop 60%, but I would still just use Bitcoin as my main trading currency instead of something like Tether. Now, if they do come out with official audits and stuff like that, then they're a little bit more trustworthy, but me personally, I still wouldn't use it.
So if I was day trading, I might use it. I mean, I can see the appeal of it, but I'm the same way. I don't really day trade. So
I would say for quick transactions, it would be great.
Yeah,
if you're going to throw it in there and then take it out in the same day or maybe even the same week, then it will work definitely, because it's not going to crash in like an hour. So it would work. But if you're going to just store thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars in Tether for months and years, it's risky. It's really risky.
Well, and there's no purpose for storing it in there for a long period of time, because it's not going to go up.
Well, it may be, because if you want to throw a big lump sum into Tether and know it's going to be a stable currency, and then just eat out of that Tether every time you want to buy a crypto, an altcoin here and there, then you could just stay, keep it there.
Investment, but it's
just a storage. It's like a safe, it's
right,
like a vault.
So that's a really good point. Okay, so we're talking about investment in Tether, and we're talking about storage in Tether. So I heard about a strategy.
Tether.
So check this out. This is the strategy that I heard on Twitter.
I know where you're going.
So when Tether is down around, so it fluctuates between 95 cents and basically $1.05, somewhere in that range. Typically closer than that. Actually, it's pretty stable. But it'll go down as low as about 95 and about up at $1.05. So what happens is when it hits around 95 cents, people will stockpile money in there and just wait for these volatile markets to do what they do and crash. And because one thing that we can predict, right, in the Bitcoin market is volatility. There's a lot of volatility. So they just sit around and wait for that 95 cent mark. They put their money, their USD, into that Tether, and then they wait for that big crash. And when everything's crashing, and then everybody all of a sudden takes all their money out of everything and panic sells, instead of panic selling back into USD, a lot of people are panic selling back into that Tether, and that raises that price of the Tether up to $1.05. So now you got a 10-cent gain, and it's not the crypto gains that you're after. That you're typically after, but it's a
stock market.
It's a stock market game. Yeah, it's a stock market profit, and it's actually I think it's a pretty smart move if you can do it in a short enough time frame. Again, guys, this is not investment advice. I'm just saying this is a strategy that I heard.
No, I've heard that too, and my theory is what keeps Tether afloat a lot of times are the big whales. I think because the big whales are smart enough to know that whether this thing is backed by a really, each Tether token is backed by a US dollar or not, it's going to stay around that dollar mark. So when it does dip down to 95 cents or 92 cents or whatever, and really we haven't seen a huge dip since April of last year when they lost their banking. Other than that, it's stayed really, really, really stable. And so I think these big whales are getting in when it drops down below $1, knowing that it'll go back up, and they push it back up basically. And then when it goes back up, they take their little profits, not huge, but they take their little profits and then keep the rest in Tether. So no, I that's a theory. It's possible. I'm just gonna kind of stay clear of Tether for now.
So a couple things to note about Tether. So Tether is not a legal currency. Obviously, most people listening to this podcast are aware of what a legal currency is and the difference between a legal currency and and a cryptocurrency, right? It's not a financial instrument, quote unquote, financial instrument as defined by the United States government. And there are no contractual obligations to guarantee against loss. So just so everybody out there is, when you're doing your research on Tether, just be aware that it literally contradicts itself, right? So it's ostensibly tied to the U.S. dollar, but the word tied, I mean, what does that even mean? It's not tied, like it's not obviously not physically tied. It's not tied to the U.S. dollar, and there's no contractual obligations against loss. So there's no FDIC. So as much as I shit on fiat currencies, at least it has the FDIC. With Tether, there's no. If you lose your Tether, I mean, if they go tits up, that's it. It just happens. You're done. You lose your money, and it's all gone.
Yeah, I
that's
think
like any stock or other cryptocurrency. It's an investment. It's not a fiat currency.
Yeah, no, I know, but I just mean that the big pitch on Tether is that
It's paired to the dollar, so
right. So it's got some
that way.
right. It's got some kind of
way.
special, yeah, but it doesn't. So I just want everybody just out there just to be aware that there's nothing unique about it. It just, that's the way it's designed.
I think what really turned me off to Tether is if you look at their website, they have plastered all over their website, we do regular auditing. We're transparent. Our big thing is transparency. Regular auditing all the time. But there's no official audit. You can't just say you do this thing and then not do it. That's like, it just, I mean, the fact that they have it plastered all over their website and then they don't do like official audits where we can see them. I mean, if they do these internal audits, oh, that's all great. But how does that help anybody but themselves? That doesn't, I mean, I just don't, it just puts a bad taste in my mouth that I just don't trust them because they do that. Because
so stop ripping on my breakout coin of the week, bro.
Such a smart move, though. Honestly, I wish I would have thought.
No, I did think of that. I thought of it right before you, but I was like, nah, it's kind of a cop out. I won't go there. But I knew.
I don't think it's
I knew Dustin would stoop that low.
Move.
Yeah, I will stoop as low as possible to win.
All right, so coin of the week. That's a good segue into coin of the week. We are at week 4, guys.
We don't got to go over numbers. It's okay.
Okay, I mean, look, we won't go over numbers. We'll just go over ranking.
Even worse.
Yeah, so I'm in what's known as the lead at $247.54. So now, with all the bleeding in the markets, you can see. So we've gone 3 weeks deep into this. We're on week 4. That's $300 investment, $100 a week. The winner of this contest, which again is me, is at $247.54. So I'm still at a net loss of almost $50 out of 300. And we got Prater coming in shortly behind. He's actually kind of really nipping at my heels at $242.78 out of a $300 investment. And Heston is somewhere, I can't even see that down there. It's it's in the 200s. It's $223.88 out of 300. Who knows?
I'm a late bloomer.
He's a late bloomer. So for the coin of the week, week 4, I'm going with Cardano ADA, right? So that was my coin of the week, week 2, and it was actually the week that I actually did the worst, right? I lost. I was in dead last place for ADA on week 2, but we're gonna give it another try. It's been hammered super hard down at 28 cents, and my expectation is let's see that big rocket ship back, that big pendulum swing.
Good deal. Cardano. Yeah, it did. It dropped hard. Another one that dropped hard is the coin I'm going with this week is the good old Ethereum. I mean, if anybody knows me, I'm not a huge fan on long-term Ethereum. I think there's better coins out there that do the same thing. But I think Ethereum is the king for now as far as those type of tokens go with the smart contracts and the dApps and all that. So I think it had a really quick run up to 1,000. and then it's dropped 40% over this past few days. It was holding strong when Bitcoin was dropping. It was kind of holding strong there at 1,000, but it really dropped the last 3 days, and I think it's probably about time for it to rebound. So yeah, I'm going with Ethereum this week. P?
I'm going in with the whales on Tether down at 98 cents here. I'm going to play the game or a bit of dollar on the Price is Right here and just lowball it. But really, there's no obviously Tether's not going to drive up in price and hit $2 or anything. I'm just playing the safe game, and if the markets keep bleeding, Tether hopefully will stay around $1 unless some bad news comes out about their audits, and hopefully I just hold the value. So
I think it's pretty clever. I think it's a clever pick.
Well, one thing I didn't mention is I did my own audit with Tether. I snuck into their facilities, and I'm releasing that tomorrow to all the mass media outlets. So good luck with that.
That's going to be at hestoncoin.com. hestocoin.com.
Yeah. No, it's .io.
.io. It's an offshore British Isles coin. All right, guys. Well, hey, look, I appreciate you guys sticking with us this long. We had a great episode today. So I think that about wraps everything up for this episode of The D. Give us your questions. Send us your comments. We love hearing from you guys. info@decentralizedtalk.com, or check us out on Twitter @DTalkPodcast. And as always, feel free to post questions to our forum. We appreciate everybody that does. We do read these personally and answer each individual question. So don't be afraid to let them rip, regardless of the question, because there's a lot of new things happening in the crypto sphere, and there's a lot of things that you don't have time to do research on. Well, we do. So ask us, and we'll do the research and we'll find out for you. So we appreciate everybody coming out today. And just keep in mind, this thing is still in its infancy. Hesto, P, do you guys got any departing words?
We'll see you next week, guys.
HODL. Love it. See you next week. And HODL. Those are the two most important things you can think of. Back here, same bat time, same bat channel, @decentralizedtalk.com. Come visit us. Link to the website in the description below.